Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Today we are heading over to Go AZ, which is the local Scottsdale Indian dealership. I know they sell other bikes as well. They are not only Indian, but one of my subscribers 2 weeks ago, Paul Cobb, said that I should go out and test ride an Indian. He left that comment on the video where I had compared the inner fairing of the Indian Chieftain Dark Horse to Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. I'll link that video up above. And you know, Paul said that I should go out and test ride some Indian motorcycles, so that is what I'm going to do this morning. So I went out a couple weeks ago and I test rode some Harley bikes, and I posted those videos. You can check in the link up above. I have a playlist of those. Now that I've done that, I wanted to go and like my subscribers had requested, go out and give some Indians some kind of comparison rides. And the one thing that I'm most interested in is to get on a Chieftain or Chieftain Dark Horse and compare that to the, well, Street Glide Special, which I've ridden, or in the video that I posted recently was the CVO Street Glide. So we are going to be throwing our leg over the Chieftain Limited. When all said and done, it's the comparison to just the Street Glide platform in general. Right off the bat, I can say that I do like the setup. So as we get on the highway here, I'm going to leave this adjustable windscreen down. I want to see what the difference really is between the two. It's got some beams, so yeah, you do get quite a bit of wind buffeting with that screen down. We'll throw it up. And interesting enough is that it definitely has some wind buffeting, more so than the Street Glide in my opinion, with the screen up. And again, I am 6'1", so that gives you an idea where my head's sitting, but it's not terrible. But I would definitely say that it is certainly more noticeable than the Street Glide. And I think if I had to guess, the reason for that is going to be that your vents down here that basically equalize the air pressure as the wind comes over the top, it gives a little relief to the inside of the inner fairing. They're just not as big on the Indian, and in my opinion, that is probably why you're feeling a little more buffeting. Now, it's better than what my Heritage is, but it's not as good as what the Street Glide is either. Now, the pulling power on the Street Glide, on the new one, is, well, first of all, it's better because there's the 114, which this is a 111. So you have a bigger motor on the Street Glide, and that's going to just naturally translate to more power. But I can say that certainly the Street Glides with the 114 that I have ridden, they have more power than what this Indian does. But as far as ride quality goes with this Indian, in my opinion, I think it's better than the Street Glide. Now, the ride quality, as far as like flickability, I would say, I think it's comparable to the Street Glide. I'm not sure I would say one was better than the other. Similar fork-mounted fairing, so the weight's pretty good, but I do feel as if the Indian center of gravity is a little bit better. I'm not going to say it's a massive win in that category, but it's I can say a very, very comfortable bike to throw around. The clutch pull is very smooth. In my opinion, the gear shifting is also a little more refined. I think Harley has more of a clunky gear shift, but I feel like that is by design, because I think that's what the riders come to expect. And I like the fact that you can drop this windscreen. So on the highway, you always want it up, but I do feel like it looks better down, especially if you're riding around town. And it also helps get a little more air at your helmet. So right now, you know, one of the things with my Heritage especially is because it's just a windscreen. There's no adjustability, and there's also no vent. the air just pretty much always is going over your helmet and around your helmet, so the wind misses the vents in your helmet. Not a huge deal to me. I don't really ever find myself getting too hot inside my helmet, and that even includes riding in 115 degree temperatures. But what I can say is in those really, really hot days, being able to drop that screen and just blow a little bit of fresh air through your helmet would certainly be a nice thing to be able to do. So I wish Harley would start doing an adjustable windscreen like that. That would be nice. And you know, to get back into the torque and pull of this bike, I can tell that the motor doesn't have as much pull as the Harleys, because I'm running it up consistently in like the 3,000 RPM range, just because that's where the torque band is. And with the Harleys, you can pretty much leave those things around 2,100, 2,200, and when you twist the throttle, still have the bike kind of pop up on you, and I'm not really getting that out of the Indian. Now, how important that is, I'm going to say it's really not. I don't think that it's something that is a necessity, but when you're buying a bike, you do kind of like to have that one-to-one feeling of turning that throttle and having the bike kind of pop up on you. It's nice. Their gear indicator over here is nice. It's also nice because as you pull in the clutch, it doesn't go away, and that's one of my things that I don't know why Harley doesn't do that. Like, as I'm downshifting here, it knows I just put it in third. It's a nice thing to be able to see what gear you're in, even when the clutch is engaged. It's nice. So I don't know why Harley doesn't do that, but I do wish they would. Yeah, this thing corners really, really well. I'm pleasantly surprised by the cornering capability on this bike. And actually, you know what, I'm not going to say I'm surprised as if I thought it was going to be some sort of dog, because I didn't. I was kind of expecting it to be right on par with the Street Glide. But yeah, this is a really nice bike. I do wish it had a little more torque out of this 111. Would be nice. Slow speed maneuvering is really great. Weighted really well. I didn't feel like I got dodgy on the bars at all. No shaking. That was actually really smooth. So I'm impressed with its slow speed maneuvering. The weight of this bike, it's very, very low center of gravity. It's really, really nice. I'm very happy with this. So it's just interesting as I'm riding this around, because I'm trying to kind of come up with which bike is better, and I'm having a really hard time coming up with like a definitive winner, hands down. I don't really think there is one. Now, this is something that I wish Harley would also do, this lockable key fob thing for the bags. That's really, really nice. I'm a huge fan of that. As you can see here, my glove is for size comparison. You know, these bags are just enormous, and I also like that they have this little back area here. You know, it gives you a 22-pound limit on the cargo capacity. So a lot of this stuff is just subjective, and that's how motorcycles are in general. So for the most part, you know, you also get your dual brakes up front, which is really good. I mean, it's important. It's a must on these really large bikes. And again, here's the 111 for, you know, the motor size. Is it undersized for the bike? Well, now that the Harleys are putting out 114s, I'd say from a competition standpoint, I would say, yeah, it probably is undersized. They're going to have to up that game a little bit. That's just kind of the tit for tat. One goes bigger, the next one goes bigger, and that's kind of the war. That's why it's great to have such an awesome bike from Indian, because it only makes Harley better, and it makes them have to innovate to kind of keep up, and they both have to do that with each other. So it's just good for motorcycles in general to have both of them. This saddle, very comfortable. You could definitely spend quite a bit of time in that saddle. One of the things that I wanted to mention was this inner fairing layout. In one of my recent videos, I poked a little fun at Indian for the design of this fairing. I compared this layout as looking very similar to Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. But I say that with all due respect, because actually I love this layout. And when you turn it on, the first thing I notice is that it just all comes to life incredibly fast. As you go through this thing, the amount of data that it's giving you is really incredible. Now, it's also important to note this is a 2018, this is not a 2019, so it doesn't have all the ride control options that the new 2019s have. You get these different screens that you can configure, and you can change it to like anything that you could possibly imagine. So vehicle info on this side, and then over here you can have your audio, or you can have your trip data, Bluetooth status. I mean, it gives you everything. Tire pressures, which is really awesome. Again, I wish that was something Harley would include. Just really great. Now this doesn't have the Apple CarPlay that the Harley has, but important thing to note, when you buy a Harley, they don't really tell you. It's something I really hate. You have to buy an additional module that's a few $100 to actually activate Apple CarPlay, and that to me is just, it's bad. I wish they wouldn't do that. I don't know why they do it. You don't need to do that with a car. When you buy a new vehicle, they don't say like, oh, if you want Apple CarPlay, you need to buy this little device to activate it. So I'm not sure why Harley does that, but again, Indian doesn't even have Apple CarPlay right now, so you know, Harley wins in that option category. So I'm just, again, very impressed with GPS. Is just very smooth. I mean, it's just, again, this is up there in any of the infotainment systems that I've used. Also, as far as the new Harley Boom Box GTS system, this is right up there with it. Again, no option for CarPlay, which kind of sucks, but I'm sure that's coming in a future model, and it's just a very, very nice layout. So again, I was kind of poking shots at their interfering layout, but ultimately I really like it. It's not bad. Now the rest of the bike in general, I think is really, really nice. I like the way that the engine is kind of radiused. It kind of fits in there really nice. They show it off really well. I'm a big fan of Indian design. The lighting. Now, lighting is something I've also been hard on Harley for, and I think it's for a reason that's not unjustified. LEDs. I think LEDs are a must. I love the LEDs on this bike. As you can see, they're just really visible from far away, and to me, riding on a bike and being able to be seen by people is one of the most important things you could possibly value. But they've also changed them. This being the 2018 has these signals up on the fairing. They have relocated those for 2019s, but you also get this really nice storage space, which you can throw the key in. You can also throw your iPhone in. Now this is another thing I've been tough on Harley for in the past, is their storage space not as great, and you can't fit the iPhone XS in that little side spot that they have on the Street Glide, but up here, you know, you can fit the key and you can fit your phone and everything right up in there, and that works really well. We'll go ahead and hop back on the bike here. Now the other comparison would be in the audio quality from these speakers. Go ahead and give that a test here. Man, it's really good. I gotta say that the audio quality is pretty clear. Again, I'm surprised that you can hear through a helmet like you can. But that is really impressive.
Out in stormy weather, I might have the blues, but nothing ever stopped me from dusting off my shoes. So, yeah, really, really good. I'm impressed with this Indian. So, if I had to call a winner on these bikes, I can't. I mean, I know that's kind of a cop-out that I always thought, at least when I saw people comparing these bikes, where it's like they don't want to favor one over the other. But first of all, subjective is one of the most important parts of buying a bike. It's an emotion-evoking kind of thing. So, you know, buy the one that speaks to you. And in my opinion, you know, I think the design of both the Harleys and the Indians are both great bikes. I don't think you can really go wrong with either one of them. And to me, it just seems to be more of like a, which one do you like the best, because they're both really great bikes. Again, I would just say that I think the Harley wins out in that torque pull a little bit. I gotta say that if I was in the market to buy a Street Glide or a touring bike, that I would have to give a really hard look at the Indian Chieftain. So we'll get this back to the Go AZ Indian dealer before they think I stole it. I've had it out for a few minutes here, and I've really, really enjoyed it.
Alright guys, so back here on my Heritage, and what did I think about the Indians? And the answer to that is that Indian Chieftain Limited was really a nice bike. I mean, I got nothing bad to say about it. So anyways guys, that's my video, just riding that Chieftain, and I wanted to kind of put that out there for my subscribers that have requested it. And I thank you very much for watching. If this is your first time tuning in, please click that subscribe button down below, and remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel, and we will see you next time.